Hello. Today I came to this studio to talk about how I worked in a strip club. I entered this field when I was 18 years old. I needed to pay for my education. I went straight to an interview. They looked at me and said, yes, we'll show and explain everything during work. You'll pick it up quickly. So I sat there, just watching how they danced. And when it was my turn, I simply repeated what I could. All dresses and costumes were entirely at our own expense. There was no fixed salary, only tips. You approach a guest and offer a lap dance, or there were private dances, or just sitting next to the guest. All the money earned was split 50/50ths with the club. Private rooms were about 2 by 2 meters, with a small couch. In many clubs, there were cameras. We were also given panic buttons in case a guest became aggressive, so we could call security or an administrator. A private dance usually lasted 2 songs. We were taught to undress only at the very end so the guest would want more, because usually it wasn't enough for them. Touching was strictly forbidden. If a guest tried anything, we could call the administrator or security. Once, a guest who seemed normal ordered a private dance. But after it ended, he pushed me onto the couch and started acting aggressively. I managed to press the panic button. Security came, removed him, and made him pay before kicking him out. We were encouraged to sit with guests. They paid for our company, and we could drink cocktails or alcohol with them. Many girls who worked there for years developed dependencies and didn't know how to stop. One girl drank too much during a shift, went into a private room, and ended up sleeping with a client for about 2,000 rubles. When management found out, she was fined heavily and fired. In Minsk, I remember a striking moment. A guest threw a stack of Belarusian rubles onto the stage. It was everywhere, on tables, sofas, even in glasses. But most money went to costumes, food, and rent. Life was generally average. Some girls managed to buy expensive cars within 6 months, probably working excessively. Later, my life situation changed and I moved to Moscow. I found a decent club. We lived in a cramped room with bunk beds, about 10 people. We slept there and went straight to work next door. A lawyer explained what to do if authorities came, where the back exit was, how to behave. We weren't officially employed. All responsibility was on us. We worked without contracts or guarantees. We could choose whether to use our real names or nicknames. They recommended nicknames. It helped psychologically to separate yourself from the work. In my club, dancers only removed their tops on stage. Later, we worked with guests at tables. Earnings depended heavily on going out with clients. The club earned a percentage from that. It was normal for a guest to approach and say, "Let's go." Refusing often led to pressure or suspicion. In Moscow, we had regular medical tests. Girls returning from outings sometimes admitted having multiple clients in one night. Some celebrated such records. A regular client would come, and the administrator would line up experienced girls for him to choose from. They were often taken to saunas, and stories came back of abuse and even violent assault. Some clients said openly, "I paid. I can do whatever I want." One story involved a girl being severely assaulted. Management often ignored such incidents. The same clients would return as if nothing happened. The club made it clear. Outings were entirely the girl's responsibility. If something happened, the club would not help. Drug use was also common. Special balloons with substances were sold to make girls more relaxed and sociable. This increased profits. Once, a foreigner threw 1 million rubles onto the stage, the largest tip in the club's history. Psychologists worked with the girls. Those who refused outings were pressured the most. They were encouraged to aim for goals like cars or apartments and not be afraid. I resisted this pressure. I believed I could earn well without it, but I was wrong. I left Moscow with nothing. Everything I earned went to food and rent. Clients often came with wives or as couples and invited girls to continue elsewhere. Some had extreme preferences and made disturbing requests. I once met a kind guest. We spent 4 hours in a private room, and he just slept while I sat beside him. These moments were rare. Most clients were only interested in one thing: your number, or going somewhere else. My family never knew where I worked. Neither did my partners. Eventually, I found my true calling in another field. I don't see the point in talking about my past anymore. When you enter this field, they warn you it can pull you in. I saw girls working there for 10 to 15 years or more. Many couldn't leave because they had no other skills or education. Girls come into this work for different reasons: to support a child, pay for education, or survive difficult situations. I worked while studying because my family couldn't support me. Everything was on my shoulders. I stopped in time. I got what I needed: financial support and independence. I don't regret leaving. I found a different path, and I'm happy. I wear a mask because I've left that life behind. I don't want to return to those memories. I've changed completely, and I prefer to leave that past behind.